Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Quantum Health Connection podcast. My name is Heather Crimson, and I'm here with my amazing co host, Vanessa Baldwin. And today we are going to talk about all things hydration. So, hydration historically has been just drink enough water, you have to drink more water. So, today we're going to unpack this and talk about some of the quantum biological approaches to hydration and help you guys up level your hydration.
Hey Heather. Oh my goodness. I love talking about hydration and water. It's so fun. I really think water is life, and it really is a key to health and healing, and having adequate hydration within your cells and the quality of water that you drink can really make or break somebody's health journey. So I think that this is a really great conversation. And back in the day, like I used to think of hydration, oh, I should just drink water. It's all about how much water do I drink. And it was like, oh, you make sure you drink a certain amount of water every day. And I never thought of, was it, I mean, back in the day, when I was on a first thinking about water and drinking it and making sure I was hydrated, I never thought about, was it clean? Does it have toxins? What am I putting it in? Like, what, certainly not what information is it gathering, or am I sending to it, or is it receiving and I'm taking in? I just thought, oh, I just need to drink water because we need to drink water because that's important for us. Like, it just never was any deep connection to it. And throughout this journey of learning about water and its importance to the body and how it, carries energy and information, I've been like, wow, it is not just about drinking like a standard protocol of half your body weight in water. And I want to share on a personal level, I am not a constitution that likes to take in a ton of water. And when I force putting in too much water in my body, I feel worse. I feel bloated. I feel just puffy. I have more bladder issues. So it's really important to always connect with yourself, because just because somebody says, "Oh, drink this amount of water," you
Yeah.
have to tune in. Again, it's so important because I do better with less water than most people would probably recommend. And they'd be like, that's not healthy for you. And I'm like, well, my body, it's like my kidneys, they don't, I mean, had issues since I was 5. They don't want a lot of stress, I think, of having to filter out more. And it's also probably why I'm getting like into myself a little bit, but why I don't do well with tons of minerals either. Like it's just more for my body to have to deal with, and it doesn't like it.
Yeah, and that's pretty common. My good friend in California, she really has a big reaction to like the ketone minerals or any minerals. And so she's just really sensitive. So I love what you're saying, Vanessa. It's about being able to really tune into your body's subtle cues, the maybe sensations physiologically that you're getting, just noticing the impact of whatever it is you're doing. So, like when you were drinking more water, you weren't getting more hydrated. I think that was creating issues. So, and I've
I
been
would just pee more.
yeah. So your body's in distress is what I would think.
Yeah.
So I kind of had the same journey. I started off well, early on I knew about the importance of water, my early 20s, but it was only like just get a reverse osmosis. That's the top of the line. Test your water to make sure it's getting all the crud out, and then that's it. So there's so much more to the story. And so we've come a long ways from just, getting clean water to what is the actual integrity of the water, and that if you want to go full quantum woo, then it's like water is basically the connection to your consciousness. It's tied in with consciousness because water is an information gatherer. So, really, the focus of hydration on that level here today that Vanessa and I are talking about is about and then we should address the terms too, Vanessa, like structured water, but also people call it coherent water. It's like, what is the integrity of the water insofar as how much is it in a state that it would be just coming straight out of nature, like in a spring or in a river or whatever. That water is what we would call coherent, right? So let's look at these terms real fast before we get started.
Yeah, before we go to the terms, I just want to comment too. When I first got on a health journey, I was like, oh yeah, it's reverse osmosis. That's the way to go. You just have to have clean water. And then you kind of start learning more about this quantum space, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Now that water is void of all information. And it's actually, I mean, I hate to say the word dead, but it is kind of dead. It's not in this living state anymore. And, I know there are many people who drink reverse osmosis and they feel worse. Or, and
Yeah.
I also think You know, what's funny is I say that I'm not very thirsty either, and I don't love a ton of water coming in. But when I switched to the MEA water device, and that is a water structuring device that I use, and I'll show it to you guys. But I noticed my thirst went really high for a little while,
Mhm.
probably like a good month. And I think it was because my body was like, oh, this is the water that I can actually get into my cells. Whereas like reverse osmosis doesn't get into the cells as well. And it was hungry for it and it wanted it. And then it was a, then it went back to balance, which I thought was interesting. Um,
Wait, let's just define what an MEA device is for our listeners who are new to all this. This is water structuring device, or how would you call it?
Yeah, MEA is a water structuring device. It stands for magnetized energized water, and it's created by Robert Goulet. And we have an episode back with Robert that you can go back and listen to. I don't remember what number it was, but it's not too far back. And yeah, it's 89, and he has his water creates a permanent net negative charge, and it uses basically magnetics and magnetic frequencies, I guess he has in there, and some sort of there's minerals in there as well, depending on the chrome. You get the chrome versus um the other one is gold. So there's some sort of that is in there as well. And it creates a vortex. So I actually stuck it right here because I had to actually, I need to be vortexing. This is what I do with like half of my day is me spinning water for myself and my family. But anyway, it creates this vortex and it's going through this magnets here and it creates a permanent net negative charge. So it's always structured. And this makes me want to talk about one other thing that I think is really important to share is that your body, no matter what water you put into your body, it will structure it. That's the job of the body. Whatever comes into your cells has to be structured. So the body will restructure the water, it will restructure the food, but it takes a lot of energy for your body to do so. So by using water that's already structured, it's like taking that piece off of the table for the body. It's like giving it a little bit extra space to do other things. So the body's like, oh, I don't have to restructure it because it's coming in structured. It's coming in coherent and beautiful. And I could just take this water and put it directly into the cells. Because any water or any food actually that's 60 hours away from nature is going to is going to lose coherence and it's going to lose structure. So when you drink structured water, the body now has more space to do other things and has more energy to do other things, which is kind of magical, I think. But yeah, that's the MEA water device. It's really fun. My kids love to do it too. They're like, "This is so fun to like structure the water." They're like, "Can we make this spinny thing?" You have to spin it counterclockwise. There must be a reason for that I don't know the answer to, and you're supposed to do it 4 times and then it will be permanently charged. And what I normally would do, normally, because I think it's about creating a relationship with water, that's really most important, is normally I'm thinking of whatever intention I'm trying to manifest into it, right? So
It's
what
really, really cool to watch. So for those of you who are listening to the podcast, check out one of our YouTube channels because you can see what Vanessa's doing right now with the two bottles. It almost reminds me of an hourglass timer thingy, right?
Mhm.
And so the water is going back and forth, and then the device in the middle is what's structuring them, and you just keep doing that. But you should also go to episode 41 because that's where we talk about more about like exclusion zone water. And the other reason this is so critically important is we know what type of water our bodies want because the research shows that the mitochondria make a special type of metabolic water that is deuterium depleted. It's like a perfectly structured, coherent water. And like you said, right, if we get good water from external sources, then if you have any health issues and your mitochondria aren't working so well and it can't make enough water, that's where really serious health issues can start. Because now we're talking about dehydration internally, it's intracellularly. Um, but the mitochondria, when everything's working right, are going to make this metabolic water, right? It's at step 4 in the electron transport chain. And that water is basically makes you alive, to put it bluntly, right? So that water that's called different things, going back to the terms, because it gets confusing. And some people are really like, no, it's called coherent water and it's not exclusion zone water and this, that, and the other. When Vanessa and I are talking, right, Vanessa, we're just talking about all of it together. We're not going to get nitpicky about the terms.
Yeah, so there's so many different names. So when your mitochondria make the water, the water at step 4 in the mitochondria, it's deuterium depleted. It's going to be coherent. So some people will say coherent domains. Some people will say deuterium depleted water. Some people will say it's exclusion zone water. Some people will say it's structured water. So there's so many different names. There's another one. There's more. I can't even think of them all. I think there's just so many different water scientists, and they're all in their own silos, and they all think of the name for a similar thing. And then, I like exclusion zone, and I think that's mostly because I've learned a lot from Carrie Bennett, and I know you have too. And I feel like that term makes sense to me because to me, the exclusion zone is excluding, right? It excludes things that are would be larger than an electron from getting into the cell, right? And it also is creating that battery. And I love Jerry Pollack's work about showing, the gradient of the two, the positive and the negative, and how it definitely how it separates that and how it creates that exclusion zone, or that reservoir of electrons around the cell. It makes sense to me. So that's why I like that term. But yes, it's deuterium depleted, and yes, it's coherent, and yes, it's structured, and all the things. So that term just it resonates with me, and it makes sense because of my education, right, as well. So that's I think water researchers are going to do that. They're going to have their own fields and their own thoughts and their own ideas about what they want to call it. But that water is life, the water that we make.
Well,
And
and I
that,
think there's merit to different, like they probably have reasons for those, and there
yeah,
may be subtle differences, but it's too much for us to get that granular here. The
yes.
reason that exclusion zone water is so important, and this is the why what true hydration is what do you need that high quality water for? Well, that's helping you absorb nutrients more efficiently. That waste removal is more efficient for the cells. You actually need that water to make ATP. So it helps with obviously your skin, joint, and organs. So, I mean, basically everything is going to be better and more nourished and function properly, your pathways and all the things, if you have the water that you need to do all that.
And there's like two parts of this, right? 100%. There's two parts. It's the water that we take in. If it's more structured and coherent, that information that we're giving to our cells is going to be really important. And that also has a lot to do with our environment. But then it's also like the second part is also the water that the mitochondria are making, which is also has a lot to do with the environment. So it's like two different things we're talking about here, which are both valuable and important for cellular hydration. We need our mitochondria functioning well to make its own internal water. And then we also need to be drinking good quality water. So there's like, it's two things, right? And I always love to say, like, in my opinion, based on all the research that I've done and what I've learned about water, is if you want to be able to detox, you need to have cellular hydration really working adequately. Your mitochondria need to be functioning because it excludes things that don't belong, right? So I think of things like if you have exclusions of water protecting, I think it has a barrier, like a protector. It's a battery for energy and it's a protector. So if we have this water protecting our cells, well, then you're not going to have pathogens coming in and things like that. You're going to have a protection. So I think it's so valuable. And then like when we have like cellular dehydration, it does activate the cell danger response. Like if we are not hydrated enough, it activates the histamine pathway, it activates the cell danger response. And I mean, these can be so many things, like as symptoms wise, it could be fatigue and brain fog and skin things or things in the eyes, poor digestion, muscle cramps, joint pain, sluggish lymph, absolutely. Poor signs of like detoxification, thirst that doesn't go away even after drinking water. It also could be like total lack of thirst as well, I would say. Chronic joint pain, allergies, mast cell activation syndrome, autoimmune diseases, chronic infections, constipation. I mean, the symptoms could go on and on. Frequent urgency and frequency with the bladder. It's really, the symptoms are immense if we're not having enough cellular hydration in our body. Like, really everything go wrong. And like, what is that book? I'm going to pull it out right now.
The
Oh, no.
body's many cries for water.
Yes, thank you.
Matt Mangelich, yeah, that's been around for a long time. So this guy
Yeah.
was way ahead of his time, and he talked about all the things that happen when you are chronically dehydrated, even if you're drinking water. So, even if you're drinking a lot of water and you're not necessarily able to utilize it, and your mitochondria aren't making the metabolic structured water, you're going to have problems. So he talked about all that way back, I don't know how many years ago.
Yeah, yeah, huge. We need to have water. I can't find it. I knew I would. I just reorganized my book, so who knows where it went.
You have to
I was
know
like,
where everything is now.
it's funny. Like you think you reorganized it, right? And you're like, oh, I know where everything is. I'm like, now I don't know where everything is. But it was
Hmm.
right there, but it's not. Anyway, yeah, so that's a great book. But there are so many things that impact us, our cellular hydration, right? So there's things that are helpful, like having enough minerals, right? Enough mineral support for you. Heather loves salt, right? And can add tons of salt to her water, and she feels good with it. I put a lot of salt in. I do not feel good. I do not like salt in my water. I'm okay with salting food. It feels good. I can put a little bit of salt, but I have a very low tolerance. I don't like a ton. And I will notice even like using electrolytes, supplementation always made me feel more sensitive. I must have very sensitive kidney adrenals. Like I don't like it. My body does not want it. And it doesn't mean that I'm wrong or have to fix something or something's bad about my body. It just means that's my body's need. It's my constitution. And I just don't need as much as Heather needs. She needs more. And that doesn't make anything wrong with her body either. It's just where the body's at and what it's doing and how we support it by paying attention to it, right? So, like, but you can structure water or help water get into the cells better with a little of electrolytes or minerals or salt or things like that. Sea salt, of course, Soleil water, all of that. Um, any kind of structuring of water structuring devices, like I was showing with the MEA. I know Heather has a water structuring device. That's going to help the water get into the cells because it has to be structured before it gets into the cell. The body will do it again, but it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of resource. I like personally using seasonal fruits. Like I love putting lemon or lime or even like herbs from my garden in my water. That's sending beautiful information to the water. That is a really good way to support water being, more or impact our cellular hydration. But just eating in season fruits and veggies will help as well.
Hmm.
Movement, of course, piezoelectricity, flowing the lymph, proper fats, like supporting the cell membranes, that's really, really important for cellular hydration. Good quality, healthy fats that are, in whole food form from nature, not, oxidized or heated to high temperatures and destroyed. Those will destroy the cell membrane. And of
Hmm.
course, we know sunlight and grounding are going to help structure the water, right? So there are so many ways to support cellular hydration internally and to the water that we're drinking, both, and they both work on both, right? So,
Yeah, and it doesn't take that much. It just takes some intention and some awareness and then the knowledge and then get some supplies or go to the farmer's market. It's really the things that we've learned, Vanessa, from some of these water researchers who are incredible, like MJ Pangman. She hasn't dropped yet, but that's a really wonderful episode. Is that because water is basically like a sponge, it'll just absorb all of the energy that it's presented with that's around it. So you can structure water just with your intention, your thoughts. I know you do that, Vanessa. You basically are programming it in a good way. There's a sticky she's showing us.
I literally do it
What is
all the
this?
time.
Yeah. So so that's the consciousness piece that I really love that aspect of water.
Yeah,
But
I
so all
do.
those things you listed, but what can compromise our hydration is all the usual culprits like diuretics. Like I've never even used those, but coffee I have, and that's a diuretic, right?
Mhm.
So alcohol, caffeine, all of those kind of things, obviously processed food, and eating a really high deuterium diet can create problems.
Because the mitochondria.
Depending on where you live, if you live more closer to the equator, then it's not a problem because you're getting deuterium depleted naturally by the UV light. The more northern you are, then it can be a problem in the winter. I would say, and then if you never get out in the summer, it's going to be a problem. So that would bog down your mitochondria because they can't do, they're getting too much deuterium, and then it's going to muck up your electron transport chain. Stress, I think, is one of the probably the most overlooked ones because it's such a harmful impact overall in every way to us. And I think that I have to say, Vanessa, like, I think that most people are experiencing much more stress that they even have clue about. And it's so subtle because they may think everything's great and I get all my stuff done and I'm just going, going, going. And that actually, I think, is stressful. I don't think we're really meant to be always busy. from morning to night. And I think that we have such a taboo in this culture around just doing nothing. Like you're lazy, you're unproductive, and people get super anxious about it. And I think right there is the place to focus on what's that about? Because we don't want our self-worth tied to our productivity level. Anyway,
And
so
it
that's
is,
that's
that's
my
so,
rant. Yeah.
no, I love it because it's so true and it's such a good conversation. And I think we need to have more conversations about it because it's such a good one. And most people are living under chronic stress. I would say the majority of people. And they can do all the things with the light and the diet and all the things. But if you're running in that stress system and you're always running from the tiger and you're running on cortisol and you're just blah, 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 it's not going to matter. It's so so important. So I love
Yeah.
you bring that up.
Yeah. So, other issues that can compromise your hydration are PUFAs, I think, and like, oxidized fats and oils, any kind of suppressive therapy. And for some, I think low fat diets, I really do want to qualify that though, Vanessa. Like, I'm doing a very low fat diet right now, just as an experiment, and high carb because I'm literally over hundreds here every day. And just to see what that would help me with as far as the cell danger response and also just improving my metabolism, my mitochondrial function, and I'm getting really positive results. So I think it really depends with the low fat.
I
The
love that. I want to can I pause you and just bring that in? I want that's so because you're nourishing your body with also you have tons of high UV, right? So it does make sense seasonally for you to be eating more and dropping the fats. Eating high fat and high carb doesn't really match well usually because we need to do one or the other. And then it also is calming down that stress response because your body doesn't, glucose is an easier kind of fuel source for us to use. So it takes a lot of stress off the body too. So yeah, I think when I think of low fat diet being an issue is somebody who is really low, like really, really low. And I think that can cause an issue long term because I did see that in myself because I ate a calorie restricted, low fat, high carb diet for many years. And while I got thin and lost weight, I developed chronic disease shortly after. So I think that to me, I love and I think we should definitely do a future episode on this. I love the seesaw of the seasonality.
Mhm.
I love that. And I also love tuning into and seeing what's working for you in that moment. But I also think that a balance is always really, really nice to achieve because I think
Mhm.
it's really supportive. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So of course, the usual culprits as well as such as artificial light, lack of sunlight, will definitely dehydrate you. Exposure to glyphosate and fluoride. Like I don't eat wheat at all anymore. I've had this fantasy that I could for many years. I'm like done, over, because that's just always it makes me sick, literally. And Vanessa knows, like I missed a podcast. I'm like, whoops. So you have to really know and honor your body's messages, and it'll tell you what's working, what's not working. Fluoride, those kinds of things. But then another one that most people don't want to hear about is the non-native EMFs are dehydrating. So there's a big
Yeah,
one.
they're disturbing the structure of your water, right? Because water is a medium. It's a it's a it's a receiver and it picks up on all the energy and information in your environment. And those frequencies, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, they come at you and our body picks up on that and they disrupt the structured water that you have sitting here in the bottle. They disrupt the structured water that's in your body, and they affect the calcium efflux in your body and cell signaling. So they do a lot more than we realize. And yeah, most people don't want to think about that, and then they're wearing earbuds and they always have migraine headaches. And I'm like, well, that could be part of it, like we have to pay attention to these things, because absolutely they affect us at a cellular level and they are very alien to our body. They're not the correct frequency and signal that a body is used to getting. So we really need to, you know, think about that. So, Heather, how do you hydrate yourself? Like, what is your protocol for hydrating yourself? Or protocols?
Certainly, after MJ's episode, our interview with her, there's changes I want to make. I want to do more. And it's not that I have any excuses, like I have this most of the tools, but I want to get because I'm using reverse osmosis. And then I have a structuring device from Clayton Nolte,
It was
structured.
an amazing interview we had also. Check that one out.
Yes, absolutely. Very, very amazing man.
Mm.
Structured. Structuring Devices by Clayton, Water Structuring Devices by Clayton Nolte, I think he calls himself. You just look up Clayton Nolte. And I have his device in the shower and in the kitchen. So I do the reverse osmosis and then I put it through that. And then I put it in my Flasca. And I
Mhm.
want to get the ones from Kaden from Blue Bottle Love. I'm going to order the blue water bottle to have is just to try different because I've been using the Flasca for quite a while now. So that's the next change I'll make. But in the future, I want to use the gravity filtration system that MJ recommended. It was only $300. The was it the AquaTrue? I forget the name of it always. But there's a really amazing system out there. What's it
Spring
called?
Aqua Tree? Yeah, it must be.
Spring Aqua, something like that. Yeah, I should know the name by now. But anyway, I looked at it, it was 7K, and I'm like, I just am not ready to invest that amount of money yet for. But
Mhm.
it's the top of the line. It's amazing. I get it. It'd be cool to try it. And MJ, the one that she recommends is $300. So it's a little bigger glass system. It's really cool looking. But in the bottom, she puts in things that help to bring positive energy to your water. And that's what I'm particularly interested in as well. So
Nice.
different things like different crystals and all that kind of stuff. And then on the outside of the spigot, she'll put a tensor ring. So she's really interested in that kind of Dancing with Water is her book, if you guys missed that episode. So she puts tensor rings, and that's literally infusing the water with, I forget what she said, but positive energy when it exits the filtration system. And then she has this beautiful egg-shaped device. Again, I'm forgetting the name. Do you remember? And so she puts
No,
it
but I
in,
want that.
it's like it's ceramic, right? And then the water goes in there and it has some stillness, but it's definitely programming the water in the most,
What I
elegant.
loved about that egg is that it's stillness, but it's also the spiral. So
Yes.
it's doing the golden, so it is stillness, but there's slow movement there as well. So that the water will always kind of be spiraling and it'll be the same as the golden spiral. And ceramic is another great storage container for water. It's protective to water, just like
Mhm.
Blue Bottle Love. That episode will probably be out before this, so you can hear that. Caden from Blue Bottle Love. You can see I'm always drinking out of Blue Bottle Love. People always comment our bottles are beautiful and they are protective. The blue is protective to the water. So when I said before how water picks up on energy and information, say from Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or negative, maybe you had an argument with your husband, around your water, right? The water is picking up on that. Like you could look at Dr. Moto's work and it actually will change the structure and make it ugly, right? When we're having that kind of negativity around our water. Um, and it happens in our bodies as well, of course. But she has like all these different like messages on it. This one's Awakening. This is a new one I just got, and it's supposed to help with your intuition and like
Nice.
making good, help your intuition get stronger. So yeah, I love Blue Bottle, but yeah, I love the golden spiral in the ceramic egg as well. So I'd love to get one of those too. There's just so many fun things. But I also want to point out that you don't need to have any of these devices. You don't need an NEA. You don't need Blue Bottle Love. You don't need the water. You don't need any of that because your intention, I think, is just as powerful or even more powerful. So
But
I
I do recommend cleaning your water somehow. So
yeah,
that's the thing. But actually, MJ said that distilled water is better than reverse osmosis. So that really alarmed me since since I have reverse osmosis. But anyways, you got
I
to
wonder
find clean.
why that is. I can't remember the reason, but
Yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to the episode. But was it? Oh, but Victor Schauberger is a like one of the early water sort of prophets, I guess I would call him. He's amazing. And the thing we were talking about from MJ Pangman, the Dancing with Water, is that it's an egg shape, and she got that from his studying his work. So Victor Schauberger, and it's just a beautiful the golden spiral. That's where it's at. So anyway, those are sort of steps. I would start with basically just finding a good way to clean your water, and then finding a basic way to structure it and bring back resonance. So it's the coherence. And all these other things are extra. So I look at it as don't go into it like, oh my God, I have to do all this stuff with my water. Look at it as you're just practicing more like on a continuum, the
mhm.
basic stuff, and then you can play. Like all the rest is play. All the
Mhm.
rest is, right? All the rest is just elevating your water's spiritual quality, is what I would say.
Yeah, it's consciousness, right? And I think of it as also like I love that it's the play of the water too, but it's also building that connection, right? You're deepening your connection with water. And like for me, the continuum, like I said, has been, oh, water is just something that I drink because I need to and I'm thirsty. And then it was like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna get clean water and get reverse osmosis. And then I was like, oh, then I'm going to add minerals back, right, in, which does help restructure water. So that is one way you could get reverse osmosis and remineralize. But like I said, for me personally, I don't do well with minerals in water. So I prefer buying the bottle. So I am still drinking Mountain Valley spring water. That's the one that I buy. I'm curious. There's some recent things about that. I don't know. It's the one I'm still recommending. Um, because that does not really the Saratoga was the second one that I found, the second best one that I found. Um, so I am
Mountain Valley is so popular. Like the natural food store here, they don't have it half the time, most of the time.
yeah, that's a problem here
It's
for
high
us.
demand, and I
It's
think
very
they're
high demand. Everybody's doing it now. Most people are doing it. But so what I do is I do the Mountain Valley and then I restructure it basically. And then I'm putting it in Blue Bottle Love to store it. I'm using my intentions. Sometimes I'll put it outside in sunlight, but honestly, I don't like my water ever to be warm. And water actually likes to be cool. Actually, it prefers to be cool. Um, so I usually will just buy the Mountain Valley. I will structure it, and I will put it in Blue Bottle Love as well. And then I will put my own thoughts and intentions into it. And typically when I'm structuring, it gives me that time and space to like put some sort of intention into the water. So it has like it has information that I'm giving it. It holds energy and information. Water holds
Mhm.
the intention. And then I also am constantly writing notes on Post-its, and putting my water on top of it, like literally all the time. They're like all over the place. And recently my son started doing it as well, which I thought was really cute. I mean, not all the time, but I see him doing it and it's
I
so
love
cute. And I'm
that.
like, they really are monkey see, monkey do, but also they are learning. He's learning that water has the power to do that and how to structure. Like that's kind of amazing to
People
me.
are learning about energy. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, so
Mhm.
cool. So that's kind of my thing. Sometimes I do lemon. Sometimes like I said, I'll put it in early sunlight. But like I said, mostly I'll try to keep my water in a cooler, darker place because I think that's more what water likes. I will try to remember to move my water before I drink it, like even like a little bit of a swirl or something. It kind of comes naturally. I don't always do it, but I do remember to try to do that here and there. And that's really my thing with how I store it. I like storing it in the blue bottle. Like I have three of those because I feel like it's protective to it. I
Mhm.
like that. So
I
that
forgot to mention that I am adding Quinton to the water now, and I'm also just adding sugar because
that's
I'm
so
doing a
cool.
high carb. Huh?
Mhm. I like honey and lemon in water too, like raw honey and lemon. That's a beautiful combination. And
I
there,
like honey, but the fructose bothers me, so I
oh
do much
yeah,
better just with a super clean sugar source. So, and since it's so
everybody,
hot here right now, and I sweat basically a lot, so I like to put the sugar in there, just the white ass sugar.
yeah. If that works, whatever is
It
working.
works great.
Yeah, and other reason why I like the Mountain Valley for me is that it has minerals already in it from the earth, right? Because it's from a
Yeah.
spring. So if you can harvest your own spring water, and then I would recommend testing it because you never know that a spring or a well is going to be super clean, right? I know that Mountain Valley is being tested, right? And they're making sure it's clean and a good source of water. But if you are harvesting your own, you would want to get it tested and just make sure that it doesn't have high levels of arsenic or high levels of sulfur or some sort of mineral imbalance or pH imbalance that you just don't know about.
Or some sort of how do we call them? I can't remember the name, but Giardia or but it shouldn't have that, but you never know. I mean, just make
Yeah,
sure it
so
doesn't have any bugs in it.
yeah, I mean, I think it's worth it. Like, if you're going to go out of your way to harvest your own spring water, beautiful, amazing, but please test it and make sure that it is a good source. And then, even if you've done that, if it's sitting in your house for over 60 hours, like you're storing it, it does lose that kind of structure. So, you would want to somehow restructure it. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be a device. A little bit of morning sunlight, a little bit of moonlight, a little bit of intentions and thoughts, maybe a little salt if you do well with that, a little sea salt if that works for you, a little quinton, whatever works for you. But I think finding ways to restructure it is really important. Even I think even taking that water and then moving it into Blue Bottle Love would really help structure it as well because it has that intention around it. And always, it's so funny. Ever since I thought about that with Blue Bottle Love, I also one way I also hydrate myself is I drink for me I like stinging nettles or dandelion root. I do an infusion tea of either one or the other. Sometimes I do chamomile, sometimes I do ginger root. Like I like herbal teas for me. And I do they do feel like they're super hydrating and super like nutrient dense and those minerals in that whole food form, no problem. That's what's very interesting for my body. I think it's when it's I don't know. I mean salt's a whole form, but I guess minerals that are bottled, they don't do well with me because it's not in a food form, I guess. But anyway, I've used like old jars, Heather, right? So now I'm like making sure that I clean whatever, whatever like the tag of the jar is, like the paper on the jar from whatever it was. So like say it was a jar of like sauce or something or pickles or whatever. I'm like, oh, I gotta take this tag off of it because it's like, what kind of message is it imprinting on my like this when I went there with it, which was kind of funny, but I was like, okay, just thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
you're keeping it clean, the energy clean. So,
right. So but that's for my tea. Like when I reuse less jars. So it's
mhm.
funny.
Yeah. So, just remember that also when you're eating food that has water in it, then it's perfectly structured. So, seasonal fruit, whatever veggies you're eating, you can also, what we've learned from our wonderful guests over the many episodes is that you can use structured water to soak them in or spray on them, and it'll actually revitalize your veggies if they've been hanging around for a while over however many hours in the fridge. So, and really also help with some of the chemicals on them if there are any residual pesticides and stuff.
Yeah, it retrains that good energy and information. And I love that. Like, I love that. I learned that from both Clay Nolte and from Robert Goulet. And Clay Nolte, what I loved, he's like, just get us, because I was telling him I was soaking. He's like, just get a spray bottle. So I bought on Amazon a blue spray bottle and I fill it with, structured water. And I'll just spray everybody's food with the structured water. So I'm always like, but soaking it probably is probably the better way, but it's kind of a pain because if you were
Oh,
to
just
soak
spray it. It's fine.
yeah, if you soaked everything that was, 60 hours away from nature, that's
Yeah,
like it's like
no,
forget it. Like you'd be like,
it's too
if
much.
that's
We're
too much
trying to
work.
prevent
No,
neuroticism here, so
yeah,
it's okay.
nobody has time for that. But what I will do is if I'm say, soaking potatoes to boil them anyway, I will use structured
Oh
water.
yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
you know what I mean? Like there's no reason not to because then it's like I'm gonna be soaking them anyway. But other than that, no. Just
Mhm.
I use the spray bottle, which is fun.
Yeah.
Kids are like, "Why is my food wet a little bit?" I'm like, "It's all good. Don't worry about it." I helped you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously with hydration, we want to make sure that you're always supporting the integrity of your cell membranes because that's basically supporting your whole life and health. Um, and then we have other episodes on this. Check out the interview with Justine Stanger. It's amazing to talk about the phospholipids. And you just want to make sure that you're really getting good quality fatty acids. So it would be some animal fats, hopefully grass fed and finished and all that. High quality forms of linoleic. So that could be seeds and some things like I would never eat basil seeds, but maybe they're good. Chia
Oh,
seeds.
they are good. They're basil seeds. If you buy them, you started using them. They're a good source of gamma linolenic acid, which is the same as the evening primrose oil. And
Okay.
they do the same thing as chia seeds.
Mm.
So like, how like they get big, how they take on the
Oh
water.
yeah.
So I
Hmm.
put some structured water in there and they blow up and they're really good actually, and a really great source of fiber actually. So
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You can also use the balance oil and the EPO, evening primrose oil from Body Bio. My code is Enlightened Mood, or you can use Vanessa's code Bright Light Wellness. Those are the like some of the best quality oils that we use. So
Yeah, I love the EPO. I am so sad that it's not coming in the liquid form anymore. It's only coming in the gel capsules, which
what? Oh, I didn't even know that.
yeah, you can only get it. They discontinued the liquid form, so now it's in the gel capsules. So now what I do is I cut them and I like pour it on top of whatever I'm doing it because I don't want to put the gel
What's
cap
that
on.
about? Do they say that it's to maintain the integrity of it, or are they just it's too
I
too
think it wasn't a good sell actually to me, which makes no sense because I love the taste of the evening
Yeah,
primrose.
I've even given EPO to my dog, so
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah, I do
So,
too. And the balance oil, I really like the taste too. But
so
you
the
want
balance oil is still gonna, they obviously are gonna have that in bulk. Yes.
yes, it's still in the
Okay,
liquid bottle. Yeah. And
good.
I also use the BodyBio PC from them and love them. And to me, it's like, I don't know, those oils are they actually feel hydrating to me, but I also think if you're unsure about this, work with somebody who can like assess a little bit of like how much you're taking in, because if you're eating chia seeds every day, you don't really need to eat balance oil. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's you have
Yeah.
to kind
I
of
think with
know,
fats, Vanessa, sorry to interrupt you,
yeah.
less is better. More, I don't think is better.
Yeah, exactly. And so you don't want to be eating like, you don't want to be like, oh, they said seeds, which sunflower and pumpkin seeds are really good sources of linoleic acid, healthy sources, depending on if you do well with seeds or not, right? But like, you don't want to be eating the sunflower, the pumpkin seeds, the walnuts, the hemp, the chia, the basil seeds, and the balance oil, and you're going to have too much linoleic, right? You're going to swing that balance. So it's very important to kind of understand how to create that balance within the body, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, yep. So we're mostly water by volume or molecular weight, I think they say, right? We're 99% water. So if you think about it from that perspective, you're just managing your waters, you're supporting and nourishing your waters, and everything we're talking about is in service to that, including the things like moving your body, because that helps, right? Keep things flowing. And you create energy inside of you from piezoelectricity, right? When you move. So you want flow, even in your move, water needs to flow to be healthy. We need to move to be healthy. It's the same principles, same exact principles.
Yeah.
And of course, getting sunlight and grounding are essential, absolutely essential, because both of those supports bioelectric charge and hydration dynamics, and we have to be connected to nature. So the relationship that you've been talking about, Vanessa, and having a relationship with your water, we have to always be mindful of our relationship with nature. We are nature, and being in a box with separated from the earth's surface on these floors, it's not a good thing. And then with all the electricity around us, so you have to unplug yourself and go plop yourself down outside to help with your hydration and everything else.
Seriously. And I wanted to like bring something up that I noticed with my homeopathic clients, and I think this is really, really valuable information, and why I try to encourage them to work on their hydration through all of the lifestyle foundations that I'm always teaching before starting homeopathy, because we're going to set you up for more success and have a better healthy foundation, because you're going to be more hydrated. And homeopathy works on hydration, right? It works on the exclusion zone water. So I think of homeopathics, right, as when you take a remedy, whether you may get a water dose or not, it's going to imprint that information, because homeopathics are basically structured water, number one, and they are literally energy and information. They are information. So that information that you're giving your body is going to imprint on your structured water in your body and move throughout your body, right? It's like that's how it communicates to all the cells, right? So if you are extremely dehydrated on a cellular level, homeopathy is going to maybe not make as much of an impact as you would like.
Your body can't receive the information.
I've seen that. I've seen
Mm.
that happen. And it's like, I think those are the clients who are like, I've given the correct indicated remedy like several times, and I'm not seeing the shift that I want to see. I
Mm.
typically can draw it back to some sort of like lifestyle stuff or cellular dehydration stuff. So I wanted to make that tie-in, because I think that it's important to understand, and sometimes it depends on a lot of other things too, level of health, age, because we lose hydration with age, right? As well, it's just natural part of aging. Our mitochondria are going to work less or well efficient, and we're going to have less cellular hydration. It's part of it. It's due to a lot of things, but I would say if you want homeopathy to work more effective, work on your cellular hydration as well with all the things that we're teaching. And maybe if you had that experience, you're like, homeopathy didn't work for me. Maybe it's this. That doesn't mean that's just could be the wrong remedy. There could be other reasons, right? But this is one thing to work on or look at, or one lens to look at. And I have a course on cellular hydration. So if you want to learn more about it, go grab it. It's a webinar. I think it's about 3 hours long. Talk a lot about all of these things, but in way more in depth. And you have the course for life. It's an ebook and a webinar. You have the recordings for life, and you could really learn how to nourish your body. I talk a lot about how do we help the mitochondria make more water, basically, correctly, And then I talk about water consciousness and how it's holding in energy and information and a lot of water researching work and, how to get the best water into your body. I also talk about, I want to just mention, I also mentioned about using molecular hydrogen. But I would say word of caution. For some people, it works really well, and some people it doesn't. And it's funny, my brother loves, loves, loves molecular hydrogen. He feels like it's changed his life. And I have lots of clients who, also they love it, they love it, they love it, and they don't want to never drink it. And I recently got a hydrogen water bottle and a really good quality one. And I won't say the name because I don't want anybody to think it's a bad company because it's a good company. But it doesn't, it didn't work for me. Like I didn't feel good with it. And maybe sometimes I tend to go too hard, too fast on things, but I just wasn't for me in this moment in time. And again, that doesn't mean anything's wrong or broken with me. It's just my body's like, doesn't really want that at this time.
Well,
So that was another thing I wanted to mention. And then I also, one last thing, Heather, is I want to mention is I have a new course. If you haven't seen it on my website, it's called Homeopathies for Women's Health. So since we brought up the homeopathy, I'll mention that too. So check that out as well, because it's a really good course for anything that women are struggling with. So check those out as well.
and so for the people who are either not able to use molecular hydrogen because of the cost, or they just feel like it would be too strong for them. And MJ, I really respect her opinion. She said it's really just there's some things about it. She has a lot of concerns with it. And then she recommended this product called Wata. So this is kind of a funny name, but it's WATT-AHH by a company called Aqua New. And I actually ordered it and I'm still waiting. I guess they were out of stock because it's so popular and then they were back ordered. And I probably am after the back orders. So it's supposed to be on the way, but I'd like to do a follow-up somehow in a podcast, Vanessa, when I get it, because it's a supercharged crystalline water. I forget what MJ said about it, and it's like it's an ultra pure polarized water. It's like super oxygenated, I think is what it was, but I don't quote me on that. But I'll read up more on it, and then I want to use it to see what it'll do to help me with my gut issues and all of the things, right? All of the whatever my little niggly health issues are. So there's other options out there besides hydrogen water. So I just want people to know that. And the website is watt-ahh.com if you guys want to look it up and just to read about it. It's getting really amazing reviews, and I do trust MJ's opinion about water
Mhm.
products. So she really vets them thoroughly.
Yeah, I love that. And she mentioned in that podcast, I don't know whether this one will be out first or that one will be out first. So if it's out, let's go back and let's do it. If it's not out, wait for it to come out. But she talks a little bit about how to use it. Like you don't always have to drink it. She
No,
did
no,
talk
it's
about
not
how
like an everyday water.
yeah, it does come in plastic, unfortunately, but it's very that water is protected against those nanoparticles from coming in because the water is there's a special quality to that water. It has the electron ormo
Oh,
you,
Electrum Ormus. No, I think she
elements.
uses this water to make the Electrum Ormus.
Oh, okay,
That's what
okay.
it is. Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, it's very interesting, and I'm really super excited to see how it goes. And I honestly respect her opinion. And there's a lot of information about how when you're just putting hydrogen in water, it's not going to be covalently bonded to the hydrogen to the oxygen as well, and then that could stir things up. And you also make your own molecular hydrogen just by making melanin. So there's that as well. So go get a tan, and you're going to make your own molecular hydrogen there. So maybe my body doesn't need it. I make a really super good tan. Maybe my body's it's you're putting too much of something in a body that you're it's like a forcing. It's like I always comes back to this. When we're forcing the body, we always going to meet resistance. And the body maybe doesn't you're probably for me, like trying to put minerals in my water because I think I should, or trying to drink hydrogen water because I think I should. Like it's a forcing that maybe my body's like, no, you don't need it. Like you're good. You're trying to enhance something that doesn't need to be enhanced, right? So there's that. And I also respect Clay Nolte a lot, and he was also not a fan of hydrogen
Yeah, there you go.
water.
He's
So,
really, really knowledgeable.
yeah. So I mean, of course, if you drink it and it feels good to you, I would never tell you to stop. I would not. I would not tell my brother to stop drinking hydrogen water. He loves it. But at the same time, if you do it and it's don't get a machine before you try tabs or something else, right? You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't do that because you don't know how your body's going to respond to something. So I think there is no protocol. We say it all the time. it's unique and individualized to each person, and that's why I love homeopathy so much too. But it's the same thing with our own, how do we hydrate our body, right? If you're
Well,
eating,
I would say we can give guidelines, but no, it has to be tailored. If I were to zoom out, Vanessa, and just this podcast up, I would say, and tell me what you think. The trifecta would be to focus on stress. I think that's number one. I think that is more important than anything else because
Mhm.
it will just, you're not going to heal. You're not going to be able to take in nourishment in any form if you're stressed out all the time. Two would be, fix your light environment, healthy light environment, optimize your circadian rhythm. Three would be water. That's for me right now, for me, those are
Mhm.
the most important things.
Yeah, I love all that. That's amazing. I think that's really, really great information for people to take home from the podcast. And then I would say, just if you want to start thinking about your intentions that you're putting into the water, I would say is another beautiful practice, because I do think that you developing that relationship with water will foster more health, And look into Veda Austin's work as well. That's another good one to look at, which we didn't mention when we're talking about water. I mean, we could talk about water for days, I feel like, and we could have
Oh, for sure.
many, many videos on water, but yeah, it could be never ending. So really hope you guys enjoyed this one. My discount code for the MEA water device and for Blue Bottle Love is Bright Light Wellness. So you can use those if you'd like to get one, if you want to try those out. I always get so many comments in the Blue Bottle Love. People are always like, "What is that? That's so pretty." And
Yeah.
then I try to explain about how water holds intention and information. I'm like, I went too far.
Yeah, well, that's okay though. You're opening
I
their
want I want people to be like, yeah, like
mind.
people to understand that, but they're not there yet. So it's all
Yeah,
good.
they will be eventually. Well, thanks so
Yeah.
much for tuning in today, you guys. We hope this was helpful for you. And send us any feedback or any podcast recommendations. We really appreciate your time and attention and intention of showing up with us. So we'll see you in the
Yeah.
next episode.